Hello everyone, let's discuss today's The Hindu editorial page. The first article is The Problem with India's Science Management. In this article, the writer says that the Indian government is overhauling its science establishment, including setting up the National Research Foundation, NRF, and restructuring the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO. However, the current administrative ability to optimize India's science's efficiency and resilience is crucial. India's low overall expenditure on research and development, around 0.7% of GDP, is one aspect constraining its scientific outcomes. Allocating money wisely and focusing on high-impact projects is essential. However, the scientific administration has failed to do justice to the task at hand. Even the space program is witnessing narrowing leads, with foreign startups racing ahead on key technologies such as reusable rockets. The lead in nuclear energy has been frittered away, being latecomers to small modular reactors, and thorium ambitions remain unrealized. On critical science and technology themes such as genomics, robotics, and artificial intelligence, the situation is even more alarming. India's science is dominated by the public sector, leading to generic irritants associated with governmental bureaucracy, such as tardiness in approving crucial time-dependent funding or equitable decision-making across different funding levels. Additionally, the inability to commit to long-term steady funding of critical projects when faced with occasional failures is essential in any robust science management system. The centrality of senior scientists in Indian science administration is a defiant feature, with their activities bewildering in range. Some pretend to be top international level academics, while others micromanage their institutions' accounts. Many fly around the country to sit in various institutional committees, which would fare better without external members. These top scientists, not government bureaucrats, are at the helm of India's science administration and must be held accountable for its failings. The basic assumption behind the outsized role played by scientists in Indian science administration is that a good scientist will also be a good science administrator. However, the actual performance of these institutions shows that this paradigm is faulty. Administration requires a particular skill set, most importantly, the allocation of money, resources, and time. Attributes associated with good scientists, such as individuality, constructive ego, and erudition, have little congruence with the demands of administration, such as tact, realism, flexibility, and firmness. The lack of comprehensive training in selecting appropriate metrics for projects leads to delays and wasted time. Scientists are not trained to prioritize between time, cost, or precision, and this can result in conflicts of interest within the same institution. This can lead to scandals such as high plagiarism rates, paid publications in disreputable journals, and under-the-table dealings to garner government funding. The current system of separation of administrators and scientists in Indian science institutions has led to institutional capture and factionalism. The seeds of this rot were planted after India's independence, when poverty forced the country to concentrate high-end equipment in a handful of institutions, primarily the Indian Institutes of Technology. A system of gatekeepers emerged, who captured positions, government patronage, and institutional power on the back of their monopoly over critical equipment. The US also has a separation of administrators and scientists, with labs embedded in the university ecosystem and run by scientists. These selected science administrators carry out administrative tasks there, with very few ever returning to active science. This separation has benefits for all stakeholders, except for the entrenched gatekeepers. As India remolds its science establishment, it is questionable the utility of scientists being given administrative tasks, whether as additional assignments or full-time vice-chancellors or directors. A middle-way arrangement where scientists are selected and trained in an all-India pool of a science administration central service could be the answer. In such a dispensation, university vice-chancellors would have greater bargaining power vis-à-vis the bureaucracy within the university, as they would have more control over the organization. The next article is a case of established law lagging behind new tech. In this article, the writer says that the New York Times NYT has filed a lawsuit against OpenAI and Microsoft for copyright infringement. The IT industry was shaken by the quick reinstatement of OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, but the fierce conflict between information providers and operators went unaddressed. The NYT's lawsuit alleges that its content was used to train large language models, LLMs, and generative AI, GenAI systems without permission or payment, potentially resulting in billions of dollars in damages. The NYT claimed that these companies use information from multiple sources to develop AI products, but they give the NYT content special emphasis and seek to free-ride on the Times' massive investment in journalism. This reduces readers' perceived need to visit the Times website, potentially reducing advertising and subscription revenue. Examples of many ChatGPT and Bing Chat outputs were provided, which were almost verbatim copies of the NYT articles with no attribution. The Times claimed that talks to find an amicable resolution had come to a standstill, and it also addressed the problem of AI hallucinations, where incorrect material is mistakenly credited to the Times. It also wanted to destroy any chatbot models and training data using Times copyrighted content. OpenAI argues that their actions should be permitted under fair use, but the NYT disagreed. Other cases have been brought against AI services for using unpaid web content scraping, with several authors, including George Martin, Jonathan Franzen, and John Grimsham, suing a few GenAI companies. Some IT professionals have sued OpenAI, Microsoft, and GitHub, while visual artists have sued Stability AI, Midjourney, and DeviantArt for infringement of their copyrights. This is the first instance of a US media house of significant importance suing big tech for such copyright infringement. The US Supreme Court declined to revive a challenge to Google's digital library 7 years ago. The Times has drawn comparisons between its move and a copyright lawsuit against Napster, in which record companies accused the file-sharing service of using their content unlawfully. In this GenAI era, the current lawsuit opens up a new legal frontier, potentially redefining intellectual property rights boundaries in the US and setting global precedents at a time when most regulatory frameworks, including those in India, are falling behind. The next article is Gearing Up for Change. India needs region-specific plans to improve climate resilience. In this article, the writer says that the India Meteorological Department, IMD, has entered its 150th year of existence, analyzing the entire spectrum of climate and weather. The department was initially created to probe the mysteries of the southwest monsoon, which had a significant impact on harvests in colonial times. The British administration was aware of the monsoon's influence on harvests and invested heavily in predicting future trends. A study by researchers at the Council on Energy, Environment and Water, CEW, examined monsoon trends at the subdivisional level from 1982 to 2022. The study found that monsoon rainfall is increasing in more than half of India's 4,400 tehsils, with about 11% experiencing decreasing rainfall. In these tehsils, 68% experienced reduced rainfall in all 4 monsoon months, while 87% showed a decline during June and July for the sowing of kharif crops. Most of these tehsils are located in the Indo-Gangetic Plains, which contribute to over half of India's agricultural production, northern India, and the Indian Himalayan region. The study also found that 30% of India's districts witnessed several years of deficit rainfall years and 38% many years of excessive rainfall. The northwest monsoon accounts for nearly 76% of India's annual rainfall, with about 11% from the northeast monsoon. Prioritizing regional and sub-district forecasts over national ones would be a commendable step forward for the government. The next article is Distant Goal Rahul Gandhi needs to do more than project himself as PM Modi's challenger. In this article, the writer says that the second edition of Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's cross-country journey, the Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra, aims to focus on justice and harmony. The Yatra, which begins in Shiftor, Mumbai, and ends in Mumbai on March 20th, covers 6,713 kilometers across 15 states. Gandhi hopes to walk a few kilometers daily to interact with people, with the rest of the distance covered by buses. The Yatra takes 11 days in the northeast region, once a stronghold of the Congress, but now dominated by the Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) and its allies. It will cover nearly 900 kilometers in Assam, a state that the Congress lost to the BJP in 2016. In Uttar Pradesh, Gandhi will gather support for his social justice plank by reaching out to other backward classes, OBC, around the demand for a caste census. The Congress is trying to wield its newfound plank of caste justice as a counter. Uttar Pradesh is the best place to test the potency of social justice as a currency for political mobilization, and Gandhi will be confronted with the question of contesting from the Amethi Lok Sabha constituency. He and the party aim to dissociate the Yatra from electoral calculations for the impending Lok Sabha election and imagine it as part of an ideological challenge to the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh BJP combine. Elections are also a test of ideologies, and Gandhi's position as the most credible challenger to Prime Minister Narendra Modi is crucial.